Mr. Luger, I saw what just happened out there with Ron Killings. I just want to ask you, what are your plans for the next show, Super Brawl Saturday? Are you going to take care of Ron Killings?
What kind of disgusting, despicable lack of respect is that Billy What's-His-Name show booking a match for the total package Lex Luger and Super Brawl? Super Saturday? What is it? I don't know what it's called. What is it called?
Super Brawl Saturday.
Super Brawl Saturday? Can he afford to pay me to wrestle Ron? I don't know. I'm one of the biggest legends and stars ever in this. God! And your t-shirts are too tight too, Billy! And you book a match with me against Ron Killings? Look at me! I'm a total package. I will rip him apart. I'm pissed now.
I don't think I'd...
I never thought this could be me. I guess you never do. Until it's happening to you. Like all the fun turns into shame.
And welcome back to Retro Wrestling Games Presents. I'm your host, Lex G, and with me, as always, is Matt Riley. How you doing tonight, Matt?
Oh, spectacular.
Alright, I dig it, man. So today's episode, we'll be taking a look at Legends of Wrestling for the Nintendo Gamecube. Now, Legends of Wrestling was developed and produced by Acclaim Entertainment, released in 2001 for the PlayStation 2, then in 2002 for the GameCube and Xbox. So this game has 42 wrestling legends in it. It's built on the old WWF Warzone engine that was featured in WWF Attitude and both ECW games. In playing this game, a couple things that I did notice, the roster is unbelievable at the time. Like, no one came close to this roster. Any period of time, it's fantastic. When the game was released, actually created, it was in between the time where WCW and ECW had went out of business, and it was just WWF, and this is pre-TNA, so Acclaim didn't have any wrestling companies to go get a license from because WWF was tied up with THQ, so they're like, screw it, we'll make our own wrestling video games and we'll get the licenses from all these wrestlers who are not signed to the WWE. Interesting concept. I think overall it works pretty well. Couple of weird names in here too. We'll go over the roster in a second. In terms of graphics, I think it looks really good for the time. I mean, it's not as good as, say, WrestleMania 18 or some of the SmackDown games at the time, but I think it's done really well. I think overall the game is fast-paced. It's kind of arcadey style. Controls are okay. They're not the best, but they're not the worst either. I mean, I played a ton of wrestling games where the controls were awful. This is not being one of them.
Yeah.
So let's go over the roster. So we have Hulk Hogan, Road Warrior Hawk, Road Warrior Animal, Bret the Hitman Hart, the Iron Sheik, Mr. Fuji, Terry Funk, Don Muraco, Jerry the King of Lawler, George the Animal Steel, Mr. USA, Tony Atlas, Ricky Steamboat, Nikolai Volkov, Ted DiBiase, Tito Santana, King Kong Bundy, Coco Beware, One Man Gang, Greg the Hammer Valentine, Harley Race, Dynamite Kid, Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, Brian Pillman, Billy Graham, Eddie Gilbert, Rick Martel, Ivan Koloff, Ivan Putski, Bob Orton, The Sheik, Kerry Fritz, Kevin, Mike, and David Von Erich, Dory Funk Jr., Sabu, and Captain Lou Albano. Oh, and Jimmy Hart. Almost forgot about Jimmy.
Yeah.
No, I think that roster is fantastic, especially if you like old school wrestling.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of the reception, it was very mixed, so I did have a mixed reception. It was basically rated like 58 out of 100. Game Informer gave it like a 7 out of 10. GameSpot gave it 5.3 out of 10. GameSpot gave it a 62%. GameZone gave it a 7 out of 10. IGN gave it a 5.4 out of 10. Nintendo Power gave it a 2.6 over 5. So I think overall it's basically 50 over 100 in terms of scores, which is probably it's probably a little better than that, to be completely honest. It's fun. I mean, when it comes down to wrestling games, there's two types of wrestling games. Now you have your simulations that tries to be authentic in terms of action and moves and career mode. Then you have other wrestling games who are just trying to be fun, the more arcade style, and it's basically it's have fun. It's a good weekend rental. Matt, I know I showed you a video clip from this. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'll say this. First thing I thought, seeing the arena, has a very ECW feel.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was intentional or not, but I just had that feel. I noticed Jimmy Hart managing Hulk Hogan, and that he was fighting Sabu. I was like, all right. I'm not a huge fan of the Acclaim style. It just reminds me of like being in college and the chop game you play on campus, and it'd be like 1 a.m. Who's the quarters? Let's play this or NBA Jam.
Yeah.
So while I'm not a fan of the engine, I think it's kind of cool to have so many different wrestlers in there. What year was this?
2002.
Okay. 14 years ago. So, wrestling's come a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I like the diversity. I was surprised to see, like, in the still image for, like, the game as it's loading, Terry Funk's in there with the Road Warriors, Hogan. It kind of shows you, like, international perspective.
Yeah, I think the guys who made this game were really big fans, or at least did their research and say, this is a list of guys that we should get in this game, because it could have been a shit show in terms of a roster, but this is a hell of a roster.
Yeah. I like popularity factor, like, fans, cheating, whatever.
Yeah, again, it puts you in a situation where if you pull off the same maneuver, so if you do what I'd like to do is punch, 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 they fall down, kick, 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 bam, they will boo the shit out of you. You have to put off some maneuvers there.
That's good.
Yeah. It's interesting, too. The only thing about the gameplay that's kind of weird is, like, so you go to grapple, you hit the move, and it doesn't seem to work right away. It takes like a split second off, it feels like. Once I play the other games, I'll find out how it compares to the 2 sequels they have for this game. So I think overall it's a very solid game. I think Acclaim finally got their stuff together in terms of this game and the preceding the games that would come after it. Because those early games, Warzone was shit. Attitude was shit, and those ECW games were worse. So I think overall this is a solid pickup.
No, I was gonna say that. I think one thing I was curious about was I noticed when they were showing, like, in between the matches loading, like different wrestlers, finishing moves. And for Kerry Von Erich, they had the discus punch. Now, I remember him doing it, but I remember him doing it in WWE almost exclusively over the Von Erich Iron Claw.
Yes.
Do you ever know why they did that?
I don't know why they did that. I'm assuming they're like, we're going to use his WWF finisher instead of the Iron Claw. Plus, the Iron Claw, I mean, you look at it, like, it's a pretty goofy finish, to be honest. I mean, I understand the histrionics with Fritz using it back in the day, and, there'd be, guys bleeding, and he'd crush people's skulls with it. But when you try to have a babyface do that hold, it's like a babyface doing a heart punch. Yeah.
I guess.
It's like, yeah.
Although I will see him use the fireman's carry ram, so
he does. He should just use it as a Death Valley driver, but doesn't drop people in their heads.
Yeah.
But again, it has the Birdman, Coco Beware. He's not Coco Ware like he was in Memphis. He's Coco Beware. Greg the Hammer. He wasn't the Hammer, I don't believe, in the Mid-Atlantic. And obviously, the $1 Million Man wasn't the $1 Million Man in Mid-South. So what are you gonna do? There's Fuji in it. I love Fuji. He recently passed away, so that's a little sad. So when we talk about legends of wrestling, you can't leave out the WWE Hall of Fame, and we're going to go through the Hall of Fame and see who belongs there, who doesn't belong there, and kind of why. So the Hall of Fame was established in 1993. The first inductee and the only inductee that year was Andre the Giant. So Matt, do you think Andre the Giant belongs in the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
Absolutely, I agree. Next up we have Arnold Skaaland, the Golden Boy, who was the manager, the famous manager of Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund.
Nope.
Okay. Any reason why?
Well, to me, a Hall of Fame should be if someone said in the 1970s, who were the biggest stars of the business?
Yep.
You'd probably say like Bruno Sammartino, Billy Graham, Holly Ray. You'd have a list. Arnold Skaaland got in. I think as many WWE Hall of Famers get in because they knew somebody.
Right. Well, he was one of those guys that I believe owned a piece of the WWF, and then Vince Jr. Bought him out, and then they had jobs for life, kind of like no-show jobs too.
Mm-hmm.
They were road agents. They were in charge of the box office at a certain arena, but these guys were getting paid tons of money. Next up, and this is in 1994, by the way, one of your favorites, Bobo Brazil.
Yes.
Okay. Again, he was a big draw in Detroit. He was one of the first big African-American stars. He would actually main event arenas that he couldn't go to.
Wow.
Which, that was the times, I guess.
Yep.
Next up, the Nature Boy, the true Nature Boy, Buddy Rogers.
Oh.
First WWF champion, former NWA champion.
Yeah.
You have your boy, Chief J. Strongbow.
Nope.
Yeah, he was awful in the ring, wasn't he?
He was terrible.
I just watched a Madison Square Garden from 1974. He was on it, and he was terrible. Classy Freddie Blassie.
Yes.
Absolutely, I agree. Not only as a wrestler in Los Angeles, which we'll talk about in a future episode, he was actually on the episode of the Dick Van Dyke Show. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the famous manager. Next up is Gorilla Monsoon.
Yes.
Absolutely, yep. Next up is the interesting name, a name that I haven't really heard of, is James Dudley. Now, James Dudley was, from what I understand, a promoter in the DC area. That's about it, of any notes. I think he's just one of Vince's buddies. Next up, 1995, we have Antonio Rocca, Argentino Rocca.
I'll say, yeah, I heard a lot about him before.
Yeah, some of these names are hard because there's not a lot of footage of these guys, but he was one of the guys that started a high-flying style, from what I understand. Next up, the Big Cat, Ernie Ladd.
Yes.
Absolutely, yep. Again, he was legit 7 feet tall. He played pro football, big draw. George the Animal Steel. Again, he also, we know George Animal Steel is the lovable kind of animal, but he was a vicious villain who was challenging Bruno in the 70s.
Sure.
Your favorite wrestler, Ivan Putski?
Nope.
Is it because he can't sing?
I hate the polls.
Okay.
And the singing.
Okay. I can dig that. Next up, we have the Fabulous Moolah.
Yes.
Okay. Even though she was involved in some sort of alleged sex trafficking and and she would treat her girls, because she was the women's division, she would train all the female wrestlers, and apparently she treated them like crap, but that's all alleged stuff. We don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
The Grand Wizard of Wrestling, Ernie Roth.
I don't really know enough about him to say yes or no, but he had a funky hat.
Yeah, he's a good promo. One of my favorites, and my grandfather's favorite wrestler, Pedro Morales.
Yes.
First man to be both WWF champion and Intercontinental champion. Next up, and this started in 1996, Baron Mikhail Cicluna.
Nope.
He was basically enhancement talent, right? He may have had a run with Bruno at one point. So next up is Captain Lou Albano.
Yes.
Yes, people make songs about Captain nowadays, and he was on the Mario Brothers Super Show. And he was big on the Rock and Wrestling connection too. Superfly Jimmy Snuka.
Yes.
Okay. This was 1986. I don't think he would be inducted today.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, what can you say about Jimmy that hasn't been said a million times? I mean, it's fantastic. The unpredictable Johnny Rods.
No.
Yeah, I've only seen him as being on first, second matches. I haven't seen anything else. I know he was a trainer of Taz and the Dudley Boys and Tommy Dreamer. Your good friend, Killer Kowalski.
Yes.
Did he have the plaque? Was the plaque down at the school or no?
Did he what?
The plaque, the Hall of Fame plaque.
Yeah, it was at the school now.
Okay.
At the school, by the way, while I was there, and most of the time, was Richard Burns' Tang Sudo Studio. And we competed in a boxing ring, not a wrestling ring, because it was cheaper.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up is Pat Patterson. Big star in Los Angeles, San Francisco.
Yeah.
I agree. Was it the alley fight with Sergeant Slaughter? That was fantastic. Vincent J. McMahon.
Yeah.
Of course. You have the Valiant brothers of Jimmy and Johnny Valiant. I would say Jimmy, absolutely. Not sold on Johnny.
Did Johnny die in a plane crash?
No, it was Johnny Valentine in the plane crash.
That's something on.
Yeah. Johnny V was like, he was a manager in WWF like in the early 80s.
Oh, okay.
He managed
Muraco?
No, he didn't do Muraco. Fuji did Muraco. He did Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake.
Okay.
When they were Dream Team.
Oh, and then he sold the contract to Fuji or Lou Albano. Well, who was it?
It was somebody.
Jimmy Hart, maybe?
Yeah, I think it was Jimmy the Mouth Stuff. Next up is Big John Studd.
Alright. I'm saying this as a fellow graduate of Killer Kowalski's. No.
Okay.
You know, you look at the big picture career, you know, yeah, he had some early days in there, but...
He won a Royal Rumble.
Yeah. So did Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Axel's in here too.
Yeah, he didn't belong either.
Next up is Don Muraco.
No.
Okay. Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Eileen, no.
Okay. There's a couple stuff I like with Greg. Dog collar match with Piper, his feud with Tito Santana, and his racist promos.
Oh, he was racist promos.
Hardly race. I think that's a given.
Yep.
The greatest wrestler in Godspeed Earth. So. Jesse the Body Ventura.
Yes.
If it was just based on being a wrestler, I would say no, but the fact that he threw the commentary in there, he makes it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. JYD, Junkyard Dog.
Yes.
Grab them cakes. Sergeant Slaughter.
Yes.
Especially with the G.I. Joe stuff, and then he had the Hogan stuff in the early 90s, and then his... You know, in 1984, he's still the most popular wrestler, even though Hogan was champion.
Really? Wow.
You can tell by crowd reactions. And him and Sheik were in the main event. It wasn't Hogan. Next up is Superstar Billy Graham.
Yes.
I agree. I love Superstar. I thought he was great. Now, when he's Karate Man, Billy Graham.
Oh, jeez.
That was weird. Tito Santana.
Yes.
This is a fabulous worker all around. He could be anything. He could be in the main event. He could be opening the match. Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yes.
Yeah, no, hands down. Probably the greatest manager of all time. Pete Rose, your friend.
Yes.
He's getting someone's Hall of Fame. I think that was the joke.
Yeah.
Next, Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Probably, if you adjust for inflation, you probably still outdraw Cena in terms of dollars. Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Ace Cowboy Bob Orton.
Nope.
Really? You don't like Bob Orton?
Nope.
Okay. Isn't the cast that bothers you?
No, it's just
the fact that he's Randy's the father bothers you?
Yes, that's what it is.
Okay. Jimmy Hart, the Mouth of the South.
Yeah.
I think his managerial work was fantastic in Memphis. Not as good in the WWF, but I think WWF was a little bit different.
Yeah.
But his stuff he did with Lawler was insane. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff.
Oh, I am a huge Paul Orndorff mark, but I'm really on the fence in this one because I feel partially that he had like a 3 to 4 year run.
Did he not do enough? Is the question.
Yeah, just like he's like the guy who's like 50 home runs his second season, or let's say his fourth season, and never gets close again. Like his 2 seasons like 45, 50 home runs. But the rest of his time is like, 10, 15. Brady Anderson, that's who he is. I loved his character. I thought he was fun, his pile driver. I liked his style, his interviews. But I always felt like when he turned him face, he just fell flat.
He had that fantastic cage match with.
Oh yeah.
Hogan.
And they could have You could definitely have a match Hall of Fame. That's something to think about.
Yeah. We'll do that future show.
Yeah.
Next up, Nikolai Volkov.
Nope.
I agree. Next up, the Iron Sheik.
Yes.
Absolutely. He'll break your back and make you humble.
Well, don't mess with that guy.
Follow him on Twitter. He's fantastic. Today, Nintendo launched their new system, the Switch, and it goes, fuck Nintendo. I guess he was mad about the Wii U. Next up is Bret, the Hitman Hart.
Yes.
Absolutely. Probably bell to bell, probably the best wrestler. Could be debated with Shawn Michaels.
I never felt that way about him.
I love this stuff.
I always felt he was too limited.
Okay.
But I think a lot of guys do that.
Eddie Guerrero.
Yes.
I agree. Although I believe the other Guerreros, Lasertron, Gobbledygooker, Hector Mondo, and Chavo should all be in there as well. Poor Hector Guerrero. Fuck.
I know.
Mean Gene Okerlund.
Yes.
He is the voice of my childhood. Sensational Sherry Martel. For a female manager, I think she was innovative. I think she broke the mold. And the bump she's took were amazing.
Yeah.
Plus, she wasn't afraid to show a little ass every once in a while. Yes, her heart. Vern Gagne.
No.
It's hard with Vern because, again, we didn't see lots of Vern. I know he was like NWA junior heavyweight champion, AWA champion forever, only AWA, but it's tough when you talk about like a WWE Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Mr. USA Tony Atlas.
Yes.
Okay. You think he accomplished more than Paul Orndorff?
Long term, yes.
Okay.
But I think also too he needs it more for his livelihood than Orndorff.
He's not living in trailers anymore. He's okay.
Oh, is he alright?
He likes feet. It's weird.
Oh, alright.
He's a foot fetish. That's well known. He also accused the Bellas and shitting in people's beds in the hotel rooms.
The Bellas?
Yeah. They like to take shits in hotel rooms and people's beds. Good for you, Tony Atlas. William, the Refrigerator Perry.
Does he shit in bedrooms?
He has. I mean, it's just based on the one WrestleMania 2 appearance.
No.
The Blackjacks, Mulligan and Lanza.
No.
I would split them up. I would put Mulligan in. I would think I'd put Lanza in.
Yeah.
Mulligan's amazing. Mulligan's almost 7 feet tall, can talk, can work. Was in big programs. Your favorite wrestler in the ring, Dusty Rhodes.
Yes.
Absolutely. Mr. Perfect.
Yes. Of course.
IC champion. Jerry the King Lawler.
Yes.
Nick Bockwinkel.
Yes.
He was weird in WCW when he became the commissioner.
Yeah, that was always a weird fit to me.
And back when he was a WWF announcer. That's also strange. Fuji. Mr. Fuji.
Yes, of course.
You know Mr. Fuji's American, right?
Yes.
From Hawaii. The Sheik. The original Sheik.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's set people on fire. Jim Ross. Probably the greatest announcer of all time.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. The Wild Samoans. Afa and Sika.
Yes.
Okay. I would put those in too. Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
Yep.
High Chief, Peter Maivia.
No.
Okay. Soul Man, Rocky Johnson.
No.
I agree. Mae Young. The first woman to ever take a pile driver. Terry Funk said he pile drove there in the 70s.
Oh, man. Mae Young. Sure.
Yeah.
For the bump she took. Good lord.
Bless her heart. Eddie Graham.
No.
Okay. Gordon Soley.
Yes.
I agree. He's so good. Now they have Jerry Briscoe and they have Jack Briscoe. Honestly, Jack Briscoe deserves to be in. It's fucking Jack Briscoe. I'm not sold on Jerry Briscoe, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Next up, this is 2009, by the way. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the biggest draw of all time, maybe. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
Yeah.
I love the steamer. Cowboy Bill Watts. He had a big run with Bruno in Mexico in the 70s. This is probably the most controversial inductee into the Hall of Fame. Coco Beware.
Nope.
I agree. Now, if this is the Memphis Hall of Fame, who would be in it? Because I like the PYT Express. Lou Norville Austin. He was awesome. And Pork Chop Cash. I'd just say Pork Chop Cash because I don't think it's enough love. I'll say him 1,000 times on this goddamn show.
Pork Chop Cash?
There it is. Howard Finkel, the Fink. Would you consider him the greatest ring announcer of all time?
Yeah, for ring announcers, yeah. He deserves the Hall of Fame.
They put him both funks, so you have Dory and Terry.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. And then you have the Von Erich. All of them.
Yeah.
Although they should probably take out Chris and Knight.
Yeah. Kind of like Rocky Maivia. Sorry, folks.
After that, 2010, we have Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man.
Yes.
Yeah. Antonio Inoki. Don't forget about the Ali fight, too. Vince promoted that.
Yeah, alright. But barely.
The being champion in Japan for 20 years don't count.
No.
Okay. Your favorite women's wrestler of all time, Wendy Richter.
Oh, jeez.
I don't think she did.
No.
I don't think she did enough. No. I mean,
No.
innovative, yes. She was a big part of WrestleMania 1, but she was gone by 86 anyway. I don't think she made the WrestleMania 2. Mad Dog, Maurice Vachon.
Yeah.
I agree. Gorgeous George.
Yes.
Absolutely. And the guy basically invented modern day characters in wrestling. Stu Hart.
No.
He wrestled a fucking bear.
Well. Was it Ted the Wrestling Bear?
It was Ted the Wrestler. That's the name of the bear. That's where I stole it from. Like, that's legitimately the name of the wrestling bear.
Nice.
Bob Uecker.
No.
I did enjoy his two WrestleManias that he did.
I did as well, but not enough.
Okay. HBK Shawn Michaels.
Yes.
Jim Dugan.
Nope.
Bob Armstrong.
Yes.
Okay. Bullet Bob is the man. Hell of a promo, by the way. Underrated. Look up his interviews, guys. It's fantastic. The woman that you chat with at 2 o'clock in the morning over Skype, Sunny.
Sunny.
She did change the game in terms of
Yeah.
divas. Our good friend Larry, also known as Abdul the Butcher.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Daddy the
Drew,
Butcher.
Drew everywhere you went.
Yeah.
The Road Warriors.
Oh, yeah.
They had Paul Ellering here too, but I think they're inducted together. So
Yeah, Rocky Maivia.
Drew Carey.
No.
2012. Mil Mascaras.
No.
Really?
Well, I guess Mexico, yeah.
Well, obviously Blue Demon's not in and El Santo's not in. I would definitely put El Santo and Blue Demon in before I put Mascaras in. Although Mascaras was a bigger star in the States. Edge.
Yes.
Okay.
I feel he did a lot tag team wise, bump wise, match wise, innovative.
He packed a whole lot in like in a 12, 13-year career.
Yeah.
It wasn't very long. It wasn't your 20, 30 year career, but he packed a lot in it. The Horseman.
Oh, yeah.
Except for Paul Roman. Mike Tyson. Some say he saved the WWF by his appearance at WrestleMania 14.
Really?
Yeah.
I still say no.
Okay. Ron Simmons, first African American heavyweight champion.
Yeah, and for his work, he did good work throughout. You know.
I like this stuff. I just watched his title win the other day when he beat Vader.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, it's amazing. Yokozuna.
No way.
You didn't like Yoko?
No.
Okay. I love you.
Short picture of work, and he wasn't a great worker anyways.
For 600 pounds?
Not for any pounds.
Okay. Next up, Mick Foley.
Yes.
Bob Backlund.
Yes.
Great. Trish Stratus.
Yes.
I think she was the first model that they taught how to work. You know what I mean?
The what?
She was she wasn't a wrestler, that much of a wrestling fan. She was basically, a fitness model, and they were able to teach her how to work.
Yes.
So they try to recreate that a bunch of times, and it hasn't worked really since. They're talking about women main eventing Raw, main eventing the next pay-per-view. Her and Lita main evented a Raw before, so.
Nice.
Bruno Sammartino.
Yes.
Absolutely. He's awesome. Booker T. He was King Booker.
Yeah.
Okay. The next president of the United States, Donald Trump.
Nope.
Okay. 2014, The Ultimate Warrior.
Yes.
Great. Paul Bearer.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I love Paul Bearer. And people forget about his Percy Pringle stuff. That stuff was awesome. Jake the Snake Roberts.
Yes.
Absolutely. Lita.
Yes.
She changed the game. I would say she was the first female who's doing moonsaults, her and Karanas, all kinds of crazy shit. Carlos Colon. I love Carlos Colon. You know my personal opinion of Carlos Colon. So. Mr. T.
No.
2 WrestleMania appearances.
So is Bob Uecker.
That's a good point. Bob Uecker didn't fight Roddy Piper either.
You've had half as many appearances as Mr. T, right? At WrestleMania.
I have one, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Scott Hall.
No.
You're Scott Hall biased. You hate him.
I do hate. Actually, I hate Kevin Nash more.
Okay.
Scott Hall, I think. Just the NWO years just killed it for me. They went from okay to like that's unbearable. I mean, you knew how they worked. It was like, oh god, these guys suck. But Razor Ramon was fun to watch. He really adopted that character.
Thank you, boys. Randy Savage.
Oh yeah.
Without a doubt. There's nothing more that can be said. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No.
I forget why he was in there. Rikishi.
No.
I agree. Bushwhackers. That includes the sheep herders.
Well, sheep herders, yes.
Alundra Blaze, Medusa.
Nope.
Larry Zbyszko.
Yes.
Goddamn living legend. Tatsumi Fujinami.
Sure.
See, I would say no, because I don't see no motherfucking Tiger Mask. I don't see Muda.
That's true. I'd love to see Tiger Mask and Muta.
Chono. Choshu. It's like Fujinami's the only person they can get to be in the video game, so he's in the Hall of Fame. Because he's in the WWF video game for 2 years in a row. No reason. I'm going to skip Kevin Nash, because I think we already know your feelings on Kevin Nash.
Yeah.
I love Kevin.
Overrated.
I don't think anyone rated him to be good, though.
No, I mean, ring style, on the mic, overrated. Just He has the look. He's the perfect example of the look. Hogan could outwork him. That's sad.
It's true. The man called Sting.
Yes.
Godfather.
No.
Yeah. Maybe if they put him in as Papa Shango, then yes. But they put him in as the Godfather, so no. The Freebirds.
Yes.
Absolutely. Although, do you think Jimmy Garvin should be included? Because they did include Jimmy Garvin. Because I can make a case for Jimmy Garvin going in by himself.
Yeah. It's fine.
Boss Man.
No.
No love for the Boss Man.
I did love when he grabbed the casket and drug it around town, but no.
You like when the Undertaker hung him?
Yeah.
Jacqueline.
No.
Stan Lariat Hansen.
No.
You know Stan Hansen?
I'm kidding, yeah.
I was about to shut this thing down. And then finally, this is the last inductee in 2016. Snoop Dogg.
No.
Okay, no Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg. I say yeah. So we are officially running out of time. So again, my thoughts on Legends of Wrestling. I think it's a solid game overall. Graphics are good. Music is good. Gameplay is okay. I think overall, it's worth, definitely a playthrough at least once. So for Matt Riley.